Hey guys, what is up? Big Red Reviews here, back again with another video, and I kind of wanted to just make a quick little video to upload because I have to refilm my Marvel timeline video for like the fourth time. If you guys don't know, I did a Star Wars timeline. It was about an hour long, so the Marvel one is kind of around that time. I'm trying to keep it a little shorter, but I basically, my camera messed up in my first one, and then the second one I didn't like how it came out, and the third one I accidentally deleted the footage. So it's cursed, but it is coming. I just figured I didn't want to leave like a big gap. I'm not trying to do that anymore, so I figured what better way than to do a tier list. I've done 2 or 3 tier lists recently. They've done pretty good, and I like doing them. It makes me talk about different things. And today I wanted to do the Pixar tier list. Now, here's the thing. I actually think no Pixar film is an F, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do not seen, because there are some I haven't seen, and you guys might kill me for this. I haven't seen Turning Red. I haven't seen Luca. The newer stuff I really haven't seen, like Elemental and Brave. These are the 4 I haven't seen. So, yeah, sue me, guys. I'm so sorry, but these are like the newer Pixar stuff. I'm not really like, I don't know. Like I obviously I'm grown up now, but like I don't know. So let's get into it, guys. I think this is from like release order, if I'm not mistaken. So, Toy Story 1. Here we go with the Toy Stories, because like early Pixar, there could be a real argument for that most of these are S tier, but I think I'm about Toy Story 1A, and you guys will like agree with me maybe, because a Toy Story 1 is obviously where it all started. Obviously the animation's dated, but the story is great. It holds up. The characters are great. I mean, some of the most beloved characters in kids, cinema ever. And this is just a really solid film. It's not S because I do think other movies that Pixar have made are better than Toy Story 1, even some in the same franchise, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Also, I thought Bug's Life was first. Am I stupid? But yeah, guys, I mean, obviously, all 4 Toy Stories are great. I mean, that's not a spoiler for my list. Like, obviously, we all know this. But I've never been, like, super into Toy Story, like most people. I feel like when I hear them talk about Pixar, it's Toy Story and Incredibles. I love Incredibles. Toy Story I obviously love, but I was always more towards Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, Cars, stuff like that. And you'll see like how my list goes and stuff, and it'll probably, I'm really ready for people to disagree with my list, and that's okay. That's what lists are for. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. But Bug's Life, I'm gonna put. I almost like Bug's Life better than Toy Story 1. Just because, like, I feel like Toy Story 1 is the weakest. Maybe it's better than 4, but, like, 2 and 3 are really strong movies. And Bug's Life, obviously, we haven't had a sequel or anything. But I really love Bug's Life. It just felt really unique. I mean, I remember the villain, like, I was petrified of the fucking grasshopper. And, like, and there's some morbid jokes in here about how like quickly some of the bugs die, and it's a really fun watch. I really like it. Obviously, like again with some of these earlier Pixar films, the animation's a little dated, but I still think it's great, and I think it's one of the more unique films from Pixar because at this point now, especially with recent Pixar, we've had Incredibles sequels, we've had Toy Story sequels, we've had Cars sequels, and this movie never really got a sequel. It was its own little thing, and I really liked it. Next up, Toy Story 2. I'm going to put here. It's not S. Okay, Editor Joey here. As I've stewed on this and I've thought about it and I'm seeing this again as I filmed this a couple days ago, Toy Story 2 is S. I don't know what I was thinking. Toy Story 2 is S. The rest of the video, when I talk about Toy Story 2, it's going to be A. But just know that Joey has reformed. Editor Joey has awoken, and it is S. It's not S, but it's still solid. Obviously, one of the most iconic scenes in Toy Story and like animation history, I feel like, is the scene where Woody's getting cleaned, and this movie is just goated. I mean, Big Al. My friends joke that I look like Big Al. I'm not that bald, and I'm not a failing businessman. But I remember Big Al just being some like loser, and this was a great direction to take the Toy Story franchise, and like obviously the Star Wars joke with in the elevator scene and the whole airport fight at the end, I loved, and just like, Woody trying to find his place, and I really like that. I will say, in my opinion, Toy Story 2 is maybe the most forgettable of the OG 3, and I only say that just because, like, 1 is obviously the beginning, so everyone remembers it, and 3 is just so fucking good, so it's like, obviously everyone remembers that one, but 2 is solid as well. Alright, guys, Monsters, Inc., I don't give S tier. I mean, this movie is goated. I'm a Monsters Inc. enjoyer. This movie fucks so hard. And I don't know, like, I just remember, like, this movie, I was genuinely terrified in this movie when the fucking, like, lip suck machine was getting put onto, like, Boo and then Mike, and I just remember being, like, so petrified that this thing was, like, real, that I was, like, I never watched that scene, but this movie's funny. I mean, the chemistry between Mike and Sully is great, the running gags, the villain, I mean, I wanted to do a tier list of just villains, but, like, Pixar has some really weak villains, but also really strong villains. I feel like Randall and, Mr. Waternoose, I don't know why I remember that name, are some of the best villains they've made, and this movie is just peak all around. I mean, seeing, you know, Sully come to terms with Boo, and then especially, I mean, this has one of the best endings from Pixar, where, you know, they remake the door, and Sully opens the door, and you hear her say, Boo, or you hear her say Kitty. That was, like, really almost tier levels, and I love this movie so much, guys. I mean, this is literally peak Pixar at the back. I mean, the jokes in this movie are also funny. I rewatched this recently, and I was dying laughing. Finding Nemo S. And as you guys know, with tier lists, left to right, so left is the best, and right is the weakest in the tier. I kind of want to put Toy Story 1 over 2. We'll get that later. This is just, I mean, Finding Nemo is I don't know why I just grew up with this movie. Like, I watched this one the most, and it's just so iconic. I mean, the fucking P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Cindy, the whole, you know, the dentist office, don't touch the butt. I mean, this movie is really funny. The water effects are insane for the time. Still kind of holds up, and it's just all around a great film. I mean, Dory is one of the most beloved animated characters of all time, even though she's voiced by Ellen. Seeing Nemo's dad come to terms with, like, letting his son go and grow up and stuff. I really like when, like, anime movies do that. And this movie's peak. Bruce, you know, Bruce and the blood, and so many iconic moments from this movie that there's no way you don't put it at least A. The Incredibles, again, guys, I mean, we're talking S tier here. Low-key, I don't know. I like Monsters, Inc. a lot, so that's probably going to be controversial, because I know Incredibles is, like, a lot of people's favorites. But actually, I'm going to leave this like this. Yeah, Incredibles is peak, guys. I mean, this is literally, like, the best Fantastic Four movie, but, like, this movie was so ahead of its time. Let's not even talk kids movie. Just the humor, the messages it's sending, the way the family interacts. Like, this is just, it's all peak. I mean, the scene where Dash is running across the water and he realizes what he's doing and he starts laughing, like, I get goosebumps in that. Like, there's scenes that are actually good action scenes, and seeing Mr. Incredible go from, like, his old self to, like, you know, him being in this, like, new boring world to slowly becoming the Mr. Incredible again, and his family dealing with that. This movie's so peak. I mean, the villain. I mean, what hasn't been said about Incredibles, guys? Cars 1. I'm going to put Cars here. I'm going to put it here. There's a contender for S, but there's about to be, like, 3 more movies that hit S tier, so I really don't want to flood it. But Cars 1 is peak. Like, obviously, Cars didn't really, I feel like, hit with a lot of people as much as, like, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, and especially with the Cars sequels having been, like, the weakest sequels they've made. But Cars 1, to me, is genuinely a good time. It's funny. It's about some arrogant dude who comes to terms with, like, you know, living in the moment, and the message is really good, too, and the whole, like, finale with the race and all that, and his character arc, Lightning, in this movie is great. Mater and his friendship, there's some really touching scenes with that, and this movie's really funny, again. Like, I mean, it's just, like, seeing, like, it's such an out there idea, but this movie's peak. I could definitely see you putting in S, and I might move it to S at the end. Ratatouille, guys, this is fucking, here's the thing. I know people like Shay Frillis and a lot of YouTubers who make these types of videos put Ratatouille S tier. I agree it's S tier. I don't think it's the best Pixar film. The reason why is, or at least for me, I grew up, yes, I watched Ratatouille, but I just didn't have the connection I did with that movie. Like, for some reason, I always just gravitated more towards Incredibles, Finding Nemo, Monsters, Inc., and I stayed away from, like, Toy Story and Ratatouille. Not stay away, like, I still watch them, but, like, I don't know, I always gravitated more towards those. But Ratatouille is easily, it's kind of like the same thing as A Bug's Life, where Ratatouille is, like, there's no sequel or anything, and it's just really, it's so good. I love Ratatouille so much. And, like, the scenes where he's trying the foods out and stuff. Oh. Here we go, guys. This is where I'm going to start. Actually, guys, don't get mad. I'm going to put Ratatouille top of A. Oh, God, no, I got to put S. Yeah, I gotta put S. All right, guys, I'm gonna do these. Actually, no. Okay, Wall-E S. Okay, let's get this out of the way quick. Wall-E is my fucking shit. If you know me, I love Wall-E. It's one of my favorite movies. I know it's not as hard hitting as like Monsters Inc. or Incredibles, but for me, I just always love Wall-E. I love space shit. This movie was just so different. I remember being 9 years old when this came out and seeing like the actual humans in some of the scenes and talking about how Earth is becoming like overpopulated and the trash is everywhere, and it was like really hard hitting because then like I started asking like adults around me like, is this real and stuff, and it really made you think, and it really implanted into a lot of kids' heads like how important Earth is and stuff and taking care of it, and you know, seeing all these fat adults like in the floating chairs was crazy too. But this movie's so funny. I mean, I love the relationship between Wall-E and Eve. I mean, Eva, you know, I love that whole thing. And especially the first act of the movie where it's just Wall-E alone and Eve comes to Earth and then she finds her directive and she shuts down. And then it's just like, you know, Wall-E taking care of her as she's like, you know, shut down. I love Wall-E. I mean, the fact that he doesn't say really any words and he's just still like one of the best protagonists they made is so amazing. And I love this movie so much. Here we go, guys. Again, Up. I mean, I'm gonna put it here. I mean, listen, I've said it once and I'll say it again. The first 10 minutes of Up is some of the best shit in any type of movie, not just animation I've ever seen. And yes, maybe the other parts of the movie don't hit as hard as that, and maybe a lot of people view Up as better because of the first 10 minutes, but intend to forget other stuff like, yes, the villain was weak, blah, blah, blah. But this was just so extraordinary, especially for a kid's movie. 10 minutes of seeing someone's whole life and showing kids what life's about, like finding that one and living with them and being okay with their loss and trying to live on with them through you and through what they wanted you to do was insane. And this movie just always stuck with me. I mean, those first 10 minutes, I will cry every single time I watch. And the other scene that really messes me up, one is the ending where he gives it Russell the Ellie badge. Obviously, for my friends who watch, I do Russell every year at MegaCon, and I just love Russell as a character, but also like it was a pretty easy setup to do, but also like I love seeing the kids' reactions to it. Like I always get a lot of kids coming up to me asking for pictures and stuff, and even like little toddlers like, oh my god, Russell. Like, I love that. So like Russell in this movie has always had a special place for me, and I'm gonna put it above Wall-E, guys. I mean, I know this is like blasphemy to some of y'all, but I just fucking love. I mean, and then the scene where he's on top, like he finally made it, because like the whole movie, like, you know, he's kind of like cynical a little bit. He's like, I don't care, I just want to get to the top of the mountain, and then he gets there and he's just sitting there, and then he sees, you know, the book, and the music starts kicking in, and he finds another page he's never seen before, and it says, now do your next adventure, and it's basically Ellie telling him like, hey, don't ruin your life or end your life because I'm dead. Like, we had a great time. Go find your next adventure and live on. And he finds that through Russell. And oh my god, I love this. I could cry. I'm starting to cry thinking about it. I love this movie so much. Oh. Toy Story 3, guys, peak again. I'm gonna put this right here behind Wall-E and Up. Like I said, Wall-E and Up are my two, like, those are my personal things. Toy Story 3, easily the best Toy Story film. This should have been the ending, and yes, Toy Story 4 was really good, but this was a very good movie. I mean, the villain, I think his name was Lotso, is probably one of the best villains they've made. It was like a governor from Walking Dead vibe, and it was scary. I mean, the end, like, it was like, I really thought these toys were going to get burned to death, and they were coming to terms with it, and this whole movie is just so peak. I will never get bored of this movie. And yes, I'm going to talk about Up and Wall-E more than I'm going to talk about some of these other movies, because I don't want this video to be 50 minutes long. So I want to talk about the shit I want to talk about on my channel. So sorry. Cars 2, D. Maybe E. Cars 2's ass. I'm going to put D. I mean, it's known that Cars 2 is ass. The reason why it's not like bottom is because Cars 2 is just like so out there, like, that it's funny. Like, just these cars just blowing other cars up. Like a car Pope is seen, which means there was a car Jesus. Like, again, like, the fucking ship from Deadliest Catch is in it talking, and then Mater becomes a spy. Like, it is crazy where this franchise went, because the first movie is just like really kind of realistic in the sense of what they're trying to do, and all of a sudden, boom, Mater is a fucking James Bond, and then Cars 3 kind of goes back to it. But just off of pure entertainment, I'm not gonna put an E. Monsters University, I'm gonna put, I think B, a high B, maybe low A. I could see if you put it A. This movie, like, I wasn't really hyped for it. I was like, do we need this? Like, I always wanted a sequel to Monsters Inc. because, you know, he saw Boo again. But as I grew up and I kind of understood, like, cinema more and oh god, it sounds so like cinema, but like as I understood cinema more and like, you know, how it's not, you don't need to have a sequel for everything. Like I think it was good, and what they do with this movie is good. It was cool seeing them meet and how like Mike struggles with being a scarer, and like how the whole movie's basically about like, you know, trying to find your place in the world. Like it's okay if you're not good at one thing, you'll be good at another. Like Mike ends up being good at, you know, like running shit, and then Sully's the one who's able to do the scaring. The jokes are funny, and the scene where they get stuck in the real world was actually really cool. I really like that. And yeah, like the villain's kind of unforgettable a little bit, but yeah, it's not a bad movie at all. It's enjoyable. Inside Out, I mean, guys, this is, I'm gonna put here. Okay, here we go again. I know I'm gonna put it here. I've seen Inside Out once. I'm sure if I rewatch it again, it would probably be high, maybe S, but I know this movie's good. I know the sequel's good. It's just Inside Out, I've watched once, and that was really it. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. I mean, Inside Out 1's great. Obviously, like, you know, Take It to the Moon for me, and I really like the concept. I think Inside Out 1 was really strong, and I think A's a perfectly fine tier. It's just, you know, I didn't watch these movies as much as others. Like, I watched it once, maybe twice, so I'm honestly forgetting some things from it, and if I had to go rewatch a movie, it wouldn't be Inside Out. I'd go watch Up or, you know, any of these, you know. Good Dinosaur, I'm going to put E. I hate to do it, and I just don't like, I'm not like a fan of this film. Like, it's not, again, E for Pixar is not like, it's not like a 2 out of 10 movie. It's just like the worst out of Pixar. Because as we know, the formative years of Pixar were just, they were pumping out peak after peak. But this movie, I mean, this is one of the movies I really don't care for, and like I didn't even know I forgot it was Pixar when I watched it when I was little, and I just don't care. It's not memorable, and I honestly forget it's Pixar a lot. Finding Dory, I'm gonna put B. I think Finding Dory was solid. I remember seeing that in the theater. I mean, just seeing like how they've come, and they were showing off like the water physics and how, you know, Hank, is that his name, Hank, looks, and just seeing Dory's backstory and stuff was really great. And it's a little forgettable, I'll be honest. I mean, I only watched it once in theaters, but from what I remember watching, it was good. And yeah. Cars 3, I think Cars 3 is definition of kind of mid for Pixar. It's not as bad as Cars 2 and Good Dinosaur, but it's not as good as like Cars 1 and Up and all that. It was trying to go back to what made Cars cool, and it was cool seeing, you know, Lightning take, like, you know, the Doc mentality, and I liked how this movie was like a big tribute to him. As you know, the voice actor died, and I don't know, like, I think her name was Ramirez. I think I liked that, like, you know, then she finished the race and she took over racing, but we never really got to see, like, Lightning in his prime. Like, you know, like, at the end of Cars 1, he doesn't even win the Piston Cup because he saves the king, and then Cars 2, he's not really even in the movie because it's Mater's movie, and then Cars 3, he's washed. I never understood. I wish there was one more Cars movie where just Lightning was, like, at the peak and he was trying to figure out, like, okay, I've made it, now what? Like, that could have been the you know, but it wasn't bad. It was just, you know, I remember, like, the poster for this movie and the trailer is some of the best shit ever, like, with Lightning just getting in a crash. I remember that shocked me when I was little. Coco, is this S or A? I think A. I have to rewatch Coco, and I know if I rewatch it, it'll be S from what I remember. I watched this on the deck of a cruise ship, and I couldn't really hear some of it because it was windy, but I cried in this movie. Again, and we're going to go through, like, all movies I've cried in, but I cried in this movie, and this movie is really good, and it was really special, and I heard they're making a sequel, and I really hope that's not true, because, like, this is one of the movies you don't need a sequel. It's such a good one-off movie, and it seems like they kind of resolved everything at the end. Incredibles 2, I'll put bottom of A. Incredibles 2 was good. It was super hyped, because I remember, like, everyone was like, oh my god, we're getting Incredibles, and I really like that it takes place, like, right after Incredibles 1, and I like that it was the wife's, I forgot her name, the wife's movie, and, you know, that was pretty cool as well, because, you know, the first movie was heavily Mr. Incredible, so now it's Mrs. Incredible, and yeah, like, the villain's a little forgettable, but the animation was great, seeing the family, again, like, deal with, like, what happened after Incredibles 1, and then, like, seeing him be stay-at-home dad was funny, and it was cool seeing this in theaters and seeing all of us who, like, grew up with Incredibles 1. There was, like, no kids in the theater for this. Toy Story 1. Again, guys, I mean, it's going to be heavy S&A because these movies are genuinely good. Like, you have a couple poopers, but Toy Story 4 was solid. I was not looking forward to this film because, like I said, Toy Story 3 ended so well that I was like, please just let it die. And now that we have Toy Story 5 coming, like, I am worried. I think they'll do a good job, especially since they're going to tackle, like, how kids are addicted to iPads and stuff. I think there's a good message there. But, again, like, Toy Story 4 I was really scared about, but I think they did a solid job. And how it ends with, like, you know, Woody leaving the toys and doing his own thing I thought was cool. And again, the animation was crazy. I remember seeing the cat in there was nuts. And yeah, I have to rewatch this. Some of these I do have to rewatch, but this movie was solid and it did surprise me. And I cried in the ending too. I mean, it was a good ending. Like, again, like, Toy Story 4 at least fit in it. Then if you give me a good ending, that's okay. Like, 3 had the best ending in my opinion, and then 4 still had a solid ending. How many times are you gonna give me a solid ending and then make a sequel? Onward, I'm gonna put Onward B, and this is a personal thing. I know not a lot of people like talk about Onward, and a lot of people. When did Onward come out? This movie came out right when. When did Onward come out? Right when COVID was starting. So this movie came out, and then COVID hit like a week later. This was the last movie I saw in theaters. I think, other than 1917. When did 1917 come out? Oh. No, so this was the last movie I saw in theaters before COVID hit. And not a lot of people talked about it because not a lot of people went to go see it because COVID hit. But this movie was pretty solid. I went with my friend who has a brother. So this movie was like about, you know, his dad dying and him just like missing his dad so much, and his dad's a parent. So obviously I lost my dad, so I gravitate towards this movie more than maybe people who haven't. But then this movie's also really good to just show like brother love, and I think that was good too because my friend, you know, had a brother and he said it hit for him, and so it was cool because like it was, you think it's about the dad thing, but then you realize at the end like, oh, it's actually a brother movie. But it could be both, and I really do like this film. I think it is forgotten. It's just higher up for me because it hit for me more because of my situation. Soul, let's put it, guys. I'm gonna put Soul here. I mean, I fucking love Soul. I like Soul. I have sucked this movie off since I saw it. There's a whole video. I have to find this. This movie like brought me out of YouTube retirement. Like, it literally, I watched this at 3 a.m. and it fucked me up. This is my bed hair. I mean, I literally was about to go to bed and I watched it. Look at this face. This is the face of someone who's contemplating his life, contemplating where he fits in the universe, all because of this dumbass kids movie. Oh, I love this movie so much. I mean, this movie really makes you think. This was like the first time in a while that Pixar released a film. Like, yes, Incredibles 2 was good. Yes, Toy Story. But Soul was like the first time I felt that old Pixar magic where like they really hit your soul. Because Pixar's, the genius of early Pixar was you make these out of these world, you know, movies like Up or Monsters Inc. in the setting, but then you just have a grounded message about it. And as you know, with me on my channel, I love movies that do like crazy stuff but have a grounded message, like Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'll always mention that movie. And this movie just does it great. I mean, this movie really makes you think. It's about living. It's about living in the moment, finding the people, finding the little things in life. Like the scene at the end where he starts living again and he walks out and he just like sees the sun through the trees and the leaves falling. I mean, that's just how we all have to live. And I could talk about this movie for hours. I can make 5 videos about this movie and why it hits so hard. And I'm getting choked up even talking about this fucking movie. I love this movie so much. It might be above Up. I don't know. These 3 always switch for me, really. Because Up, it really hits me hard. But I love WALL-E for like the fun aspect. I love WALL-E himself. But then Soul hits. I think right now this is how I'm feeling. But man, Soul is one of the most underrated movies in the past 10 years. It really got shafted because of COVID, and they released this. They should have held on to this film and then released it in theaters. I think this was released like limited theaters and then mainly on Disney Plus. And so not a lot of people like watched it now, but I know a lot of people are going back and watching it, and so good. Lightyear E. Let's talk about this then. Lightyear E. I do not remember anything from this movie. I was kind of hyped for this film. Like the trailer using David Bowie's Starman like was really hype, and the idea that this is the movie that Andy goes and sees, like, this is the movie in their universe that Andy would go see, I thought was really cool. But other than that, it was kind of mid. I think it let a lot of people down, and it really wasn't necessary. And this is where I started being like, okay, is Pixar kind of running out of ideas? There's really not much to say. Inside Out 2, guys. Actually, I haven't seen Inside Out 2. I lied. I thought I did. I'm going to put it there. I heard it's really good. I'm sure of Inside Out 2. It'd probably be S or A, but like I said, I've never gravitated towards Inside Out as much as these movies, but yeah. Let's see which movies I cried in. Up, Soul, WALL-E, Toy Story 3, Monsters, Inc. I didn't cry in Incredibles. No, not Finding Nemo, not Ratatouille. I think that's it. I think all the movies I cried in... Oh, Onward I cried, 6. Just because that was a more personal one, and Toy Story 4. So 7 of these movies I cried in. Wow. Yeah, like I said, guys, these are my personal picks. You don't have to agree with them. I have my specific reasons as to why I like these. And I know these movies are genuinely in the S or A tier for a lot of people. But I know, like, Inside Out's S for a lot of people, and I know, you know, Toy Story 2 and 1 are up there, but this is just, like, the ones I've watched the most. But let me know what you guys think down below. As always, it's been Joey. See ya.